Welcome back to my channel. My name's Alyssa Cotten, and today we are on day 18. I'm so proud of you. We are going to talk about anxiety and what kind of influences anxiety and how to manage it. Let's get started. So anxiety happens to all of us, and unfortunately there's no way to get rid of anxiety because anxiety is there to kind of help protect us and keep us safe. So if you remember a couple of videos back, we talked about fear and we talked about perceived fear versus real fear. That kind of happens with anxiety. So anxiety gets triggered in our brain, again, right here in our limbic system. And our part of our brain, our amygdala signals to our body danger, right? What happens is anxiety can manifest in so many forms in our present day that sometimes we don't even know what the cause of our anxiety is. And so symptoms of anxiety can look like racing heart, elevated heart rate, racing thoughts, kind of just like this panic, this uneasiness. This can also be seen as trying to be a perfectionist, trying to strive to do the best things, push yourself out of your comfort zone in a way that's almost harmful, or even perform at a level that's not sustainable, kind of this go, 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 unable to slow down, unable to stop, busy, busy, busy kind of energy. And so anxiety is there to keep us safe, but what happens is, as we look at modern day anxiety, it's being triggered and activated by so many things because of our sensation of feeling out of control. So when we feel in control and we feel in control of our choices and our options, our anxiety is naturally going to lower. At any moment that we feel that our anxiety is, we can't manage our life, we can't manage our choices, that's when our anxiety starts to elevate. Or when things are out of our control, that is when our anxiety starts to elevate. So if you could think about it as a color, anxiety is kind of like red, fire, just really hot, lots of going on, lots of activity, lots of energy, lots of things that are happening. So in order to work with your anxiety, the first thing you need to do is acknowledge that your anxiety is there in the first place. So naming it, say, I'm experiencing anxiety right now. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that you're experiencing anxiety, because every single human in their entire life has experienced or will experience anxiety at some point in time, right? For example, if I'm driving in Alaska and it's the first snow and it's a little bit icy and I start to swirl just a little bit, I'm gonna get a rush of adrenaline, and that right there is anxiety, right? It's my body's trying to get me alert, trying to get me agile, to focus on what's happening. So everyone will experience anxiety. What happens is when chronic anxiety takes over, that's when the anxiety never has an off button. It's never turned off. It's 24/7, all day long anxiety. And so ways to help manage your anxiety is we need to get your heart rate down. If we can lower your heart rate, that is the fastest, most effective way to lower your anxiety before we find out kind of the root cause of what's influencing you to experience a sense of unease and uncertainty. So basically doing things that are gonna help lower your heart rate. So that can look like meditation, breathing exercises. We talked about breathing exercises a couple of videos ago. That can look like yoga, taking a bubble bath, doing things that are just naturally going to lower your heart rate. And if we can lower your heart rate enough, what's gonna happen is your body's gonna kind of get back to that status, that baseline, and that's when we can be like a little detective and ask ourselves, okay, what just triggered, right? We just talked about triggers. What just triggered my anxiety to kind of come forward? And that's where we get to question a bunch of things. And that's why it's really important to kind of journal your experience. Because if you can journal your experience about anxiety, you can pinpoint, oh, maybe I have anxiety every single Monday because Mondays are really hard. Maybe the first day of the work week are really hard because you're uncertain of the tasks for that week or what emails you're gonna get. And so maybe your anxiety is really high on Mondays and by Friday it's totally gone down. So that would be a really great pattern for you to kind of pick up on. Or maybe you start to have anxiety every time you leave a certain friend, and maybe you're realizing that that person's causing you anxiety. And no, don't kick them out of your life, but explore. What is this person doing? What are they saying that's activating your sensation of anxiety in that experience? So that's something to definitely look at as you're kind of navigating your relationship with anxiety. So as we think about lowering your heart rate, doing things that are just going to naturally calm you down is going to be the best thing that you can do to kind of help manage your anxiety. Again, anxiety, this is just touching the surface of what it is and how to manage it. I have a lot of other videos that you can check out on my channel on anxiety specifically and different areas that kind of help manage and navigate anxiety. And so reminding yourself that if we were to treat anxiety like a friend, what would our anxiety try to tell us, right? They might say, hey, you've overworked yourself, slow down. Or they might say you added too much to your plate, or you keep putting yourself in uncomfortable situations that's causing your anxiety to skyrocket, right? If we look at anxiety like a friend, we might get more information and give ourselves more compassion for our experience and our relationship with anxiety. We tend to look at anxiety as such a negative experience when everyone has it, everyone experiences it. If we could just normalize it and talk about how we manage our anxiety, because usually what happens, and I used to remember this at my old work, they'd be like, yeah, I have anxiety, and then that would be the end of the conversation. They would never say, this is what I do to manage my anxiety, or this is how I'm coping with anxiety. It was just kind of like, I've got anxiety, on to the next, instead of normalizing, well, let's talk about what that means, what that looks like, and how to kind of navigate that as a whole. So today's reflective question is, what causes you to have anxiety? What kind of triggers your anxiety? What kind of activates or evokes anxiety for you? Is it situational things such as flying, driving? Is it trying new things? Is it people, places, or things? Is it just you've had anxiety for as long as you can remember, you never remember not having anxiety? So just kind of ask yourself as you're reflecting, what causes you to have anxiety? Again, you exploring your anxiety isn't going to give you more anxiety. And if that happens, do a coping skill, right? Do some deep breathing, go take a bath, have a nice comfortable setting as you're exploring that. So your inspired action is, I'd love for you to explore your anxiety and connect to your anxiety. So whether that's naming it, I've got anxiety, or looking at the different themes and patterns when your anxiety comes forward, I'd love for you to kind of like dig a little bit and kind of open the lid for your anxiety and see what's in there. Again, my name's Alyssa Cotten. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in tomorrow's video where we are going to talk about depression. Awesome. Have a great day.